Hey everyone, welcome back to Carrie's Garage on the 2CV restoration project. Today we're going to take off the hood, front bumper, headlight bars, a few things on the interior, and if all goes well, we're going to separate the body from the chassis, get them pulled apart so the work can start getting done on the chassis and keep moving forward. Let's get started right after this. Thankfully, we really don't have a lot to do to get down to this point. I need to remove the rest of the bits of interior. The rear seat's not even properly held in, so we'll take that out real quick. And now it's getting held up by the wiring, so that's cool. Okay, set this over here. And the front seat, that's not even held in either. And now I need to try and get the seat base out. Throughout this process, I have labeled a bunch more of the wiring, and again doing some more videos just for me, for reference, just to kind of remember everything goes. And then maybe a few things disconnect, some bolts, and hopefully we'll be free and clear and get the body off. So it'll be interesting. So let me see if I can't get this rail out. Well, thankfully that was pretty easy, and for some reason, I don't know how, I got this milk crate stuck in it. I honestly don't remember how I did that. I know I put it in there so I can have somewhere to sit, because I did end up driving this across my yard once, and the seats were completely destroyed. So yeah, this is okay, well, I'm gonna worry about that later. So we'll go ahead and strip this all down and paint it as well. You know, every part we take off, we're gonna clean and paint. So the interior is pretty stripped. We only have a couple little things left to remove and some bolts. Now, steering wheel, brake, clutch, shifter, make sure the wiring's disconnected, and we're pretty much there. So the hood, it's very easy. Like I said, it is a little bit easier with two people, but literally all we do is just that, and it comes right off. No hood. All right. The hood prop, easy enough. Now, this being a little bit of an earlier car, it has but like the stale air heating, so it just has flaps for the engine cooling air to go for the heating. If I remember right, those should be fairly easy to remove because they're just held on by these little controls. So I'll take the spring. And then pull this guy out. Oh. Here's the left heater box control. So let me label it real quick. Put the spring in a bag, I mean. Now, I guess let's do the other side. And there's some plastic grommets that hold it up underneath the parcel tray, and then there's another little plastic grommet that clips into the firewall. So hopefully, dear God, hopefully we can find those. And now, clutch, brake, parking brake, speedo, headlight bar. So we get a few things. I need to grab a couple of tools and let's get those apart. And it's like I was saying in a earlier video on this, Because this is an earlier style car, where it has the pedals going through the floor basically instead of being hinged up top, the controls and how it's hooked up is a little bit different. But the clutch pedal and the brake pedal both just have these clevis pins and some washers with a pin. So let's get those out. And then lose the clevis pin while we're at it. I mean, the cotter pin, which I'm going to be replacing all those anyways. What's really cool is it is a single master, obviously, but it's a glass reservoir. These early ones, they used glass. So we'll go ahead and put the parts in a bag. Bags are my friend for this whole process. Now it's really cool looking at it. I don't think I'm going to necessarily, because I know on the later cars when you do this, there's several things you need to disconnect cable-wise, but since the controls are a little bit different, I think all I'm going to have to do is just remove these and pull the pedals out. And I won't have to worry about disconnecting the cables, which are going to get disconnected anyways because I'm pulling it 100% apart, but for now, let's see. So there is another cotter pin that holds the pedals from going all the way in, which is fine. I think this can stay there for now. They're not interfering with anything, which is good. And then I think the springs just go, yep, just like that. Spring for the clutch and brake pedal. Since they're all identical, I'm just putting them in one bag for now. Okay, so those are all disconnected for the clutch and brake. Pedals are just flopping around now, and that's fine. I'll pull those later. Looks like we do still have our speedo cable to remove. Easy enough. And then the choke and starter. These earlier cars don't have an actual switch for the starter. They've got a pull lever, kind of like the traction. So yeah, cool. Go ahead and make notes on this. Move on to the next. Well, we're at a really good point. I've got a couple of wires, the headlight bar and the bumper, body bolts. That's it. We are just about there. So now, let's see if I can remember how to remove this front bumper. So, okay. Okay, the bumper bar is now loose, or the headlight bar. So this should simply just pull off if I had remembered to remove the ground. I'll do that real quick. And this just goes like that. And now, is the bumper loose? Well, that was fun. Somebody had put in sort of a captive nut that was not factory. So now, look at that, front bumper. And it appears the bracket is quite broken. So that will be fun to figure out. And I just realized, which would have quite a lot of fun if I would have not paid attention, is I still need to disconnect the steering shaft, basically. Which, if I remember right, pinch clamp right there. Let's see. I think it's also a 12, hopefully. And it is. We need to get a wrench for the bolt. That did not want to come off. That's really hot. Cool, just go down there. There's all that out. And now it should just pop out. And then there's one other thing on the steering that we have to loosen up. So my car does not have a steering lock or anything, so I don't have to worry about all the complexities of those components. Well, there was a part of me that seems to remember a pickle fork does the trick, and I haven't used it in such a long time, I forgot where it was at. So, let's see if this will do the trick. After quite a bit of heat, banging heat, and getting a bigger hammer, I believe we are, oh my gosh. That was on there, holy moly. Well, let me clean up my tools, clean this up a little bit, and let's start getting body bolts off. We are officially at the point where I believe we can start getting the body bolts off. Everything's disconnected up there, steering's out. Yeah, all we have left is just body mounting bolts. So let's see how many of these break, because I have a feeling we're gonna have a couple. Well, pretty much everything is loose, except for these two. Problem with these is it's spinning the captive nut on the frame. And the big tube that has the spring in it is right next to them. So, having a little bit of a problem accessing that. Well, I would go ahead and safe to say that, yeah, I think the body is ready to come off. Break, drink some water. A friend of mine's supposed to come help me here in a little bit, and I'll roll the whole thing forward and we'll just pick it up, put it right behind the car, and we'll go from there. Well, I'm officially at that point. The body is ready to come off. A friend of mine will be here in a couple of minutes, and then we're gonna take it off, put it right there. I've pretty much stripped, other than the brake pedal, the brake and clutch pedal need to come out. A couple of the little like trim pieces that were glued up, but other than that, and the windows, because I'm still trying to figure those ones out. Everything has stripped from the body, the entire wiring harness, every bracket, mount, everything has been stripped off of the body. So now we can figure out what to do with the body. I'm gonna see if there's any local places that can just take it and strip it entirely so I could fix what needs to get fixed. And I have plenty to do. I've got all the body parts, bumpers, every little thing needs to get cleaned, stripped, painted. It's gonna be a lot of work. But like I said, a 2CV out of all the cars to restore, it's pretty easy. So let's pull the body off. There we go. Wow, well that was a lot easier than I thought. So the body is over there. Here's the chassis. I was looking at it, it looks really clean. There's a couple little spots on it that I'm gonna have to fix, but other than that, really not much of a problem. So at some point here soon, I'm gonna pull the engine, the transmission, take all the brakes apart, just basically get it down to the bare chassis so I can clean it up, and yeah, Well, I'm going to go ahead and say that is good for this video because I'm now kind of beat and starting to warm up, but even knowing it's overcast, it's kind of warm and humid. So we'll just start pounding it out, sanding stuff, figure out how to strip the body. I'm going to have to get some metal pieces for the floors. The firewall needs some work. And then just go ham on everything. It's going to be a lot of work, a lot of stuff to do, but thankfully it's fairly manageable. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll catch you on the next one.